right, what is up? Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Spencer, JC, Steve with you on this fine Monday morning. Well, I guess that depends on who you ask, right? If you ask some people, they would say, oh my God, have you seen the pre-market session? Dear Lord, it's a bloodbath out there. If you ask others, they might say, yeah, it's one morning. It's not, there's a chance that we just forget that this dip ever happened in like a few weeks or months, right? So where does that leave us? We'll find out. We'll talk about this right now. It was a big weekend in the AI space. A lot of chatter about that. We'll talk about that. We'll kind of preview the earnings week. Big week for earnings as well. We'll have James Bartelloni on the show today. He sent us a few charts, so it was great to talk to him. And that's the plan. We have Kenny as well. So smash the like. Here we go. Let's boogie.
All right, I got two things I want to say. First of all, Saquon Barkley is such a stud. Like, there's just nothing you can say. He's the man. I don't particularly care for the New York Giants or the Philadelphia Eagles, so I don't have a horse in the race. I don't give a shit about Penn State. I don't care about any of these things. Dude is a stud. Stud. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two. I lived in New York City for over a decade, so that makes me a New Yorker by definition, so I have the right to weigh in. Coloring the Empire State Building and lighting it up in Eagles colors is unacceptable. Unacceptable. No,
Wait,
that's not okay. It's not okay.
did that happen?
That happened. I don't even care about I don't even hate the Eagles. I don't like the Giants or the Jets. I don't care at all. I don't have a horse in the race other than the fact that I am a New Yorker because I technically lived there for over 10 years, and that qualifies. New Yorkers in the chat can weigh in and confirm to those who are unaware. Eagles colors, Empire State Building? No, that's not okay.
Oh,
I don't even like it when they lighted up Giants colors. I'm so over the lighting up the Empire State Building.
No, I kind of like it. I used to, when my first New York City apartment, I guess my second New York City apartment, technically, I had a view out of my kitchen to the Empire State Building, which was super fancy back then. I was like in my early 20s. And so there's like a website that you can go to, and it explains why it is that color. Like usually it's something stupid, like Mariah Carey is singing at MSG and like purple's her favorite color. Like a lot of times it's like stupid things. Sometimes it's interesting, but there's like a website that tells you why. But Eagles colors in New York City? No, that's not okay.
What do you guys make of the Kansas City getting too much love from the refs situation?
What else is new?
Let's note, JC, that I just looked it up. They also had Chiefs colors last night. So they did both. It wasn't like it was just a Philadelphia
See, that's
thing.
okay because people in New York fly over Kansas and Missouri and all these things, and so it doesn't matter. But Philly is like the ghetto little brother down south. Like, no, that's not okay.
That's right. All right.
That's
Should we talk about things that actually matter?
Shall we, Spencer? I just had to get that off my chest.
What, Steve? Okay.
No, I'm ready to move on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we have the Dow futures down 0.2%, right? You would think that the world is falling based on social media, and I can't even imagine what's on television. Thank God I don't even know where to put on these channels. But yeah, social media acting like the world's falling apart. Dow's down 0.2%. It's 300 points to the downside. So just another day, obviously. So the Dow 44,285. S&P 500 futures actually down 2%, down 127, still above 6,000 after closing the week last week at an all-time high, highest weekly close in human history on Friday for the S&P 500. Nasdaq 100 down 3.5% this morning, down leading the way to the downside. The Qs 21,135, down 775 points. 30-year bond futures up a full percent this morning, above 114. Crude oil flat, down 0.5%, 74 and change. Copper flat, down 0.5%. 430. Gold flat, down 0.5%, 27.60. Silver down a full percent, $30.80. With the VIX, I hate to be Mr. VIX percentage move guy, but the VIX is up 40% this morning. So that would put it up close to 6 points for those math majors out there. Back near 21 for the volatility index. And of course, Swiss franc absolutely ripping this morning. I guess my crypto got screwed up. So Bitcoin actually down only 1.5% this morning. Again, you would think based on sentiment that Bitcoin is getting crushed. It's down 1.5%, which is just a normal morning in terms of volatility. 101,000 for the BTC. You've got Ethereum down 3% this morning, 31.25. We've got Solana. What's Solana doing? Solana down 2%, 235 for Solana. Total crypto market cap, Spencer Israel, 3.38 trillion this morning. And the Bitcoin dominance is at 59%, making new multi-month highs, Bitcoin dominance. All right. What stands out this morning?
Have
What
either
stands
of
out?
you have either of you ever heard of DeepSeek before?
Before Saturday?
Yeah, no,
No.
I was wondering what this deep sack is. What is it's like a Chinese crisis, another one of these.
Jensen
This was an
Huang
AI instead of a bat.
Crisis is a strong word,
I
but
was promised a crisis.
I did download it, which
I was just
is
going to ask.
very unlike me to go and just download a Chinese spy app, right? I don't know what it is, but but I downloaded it, and
doing it. Everyone's
right.
downloading it. It's the number one downloaded app in the iStore.
Right. So I was just messing around. I mean, it's not as encompassing as like ChatGPT is yet, but the big takeaway is that they spent about $5 million to get a roughly comparable AI product / model to ChatGPT, and turns out it may not actually cost billions of dollars in chips to train these things.
This is good, Spencer. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like nobody really knows, right? It's like, is it legit? Is it not?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't.
Two big things here. And you said it, right? Why is there an absolute tech wreck today, and why is it being led to the downside by NVIDIA? Some sort of cheap knockoff was just made by a Chinese tech company that is not using
by Chinese. I can't believe it.
I know. We're all stunned.
Let me finish. This is important for people to understand. They created an AI platform that is apparently just as good as ChatGPT, or like you said, on par with them. People are finding out now and downloading, the shit out of this app. And they did not use NVIDIA's chips. They're not allowed to use NVIDIA's chips over there, right? So they're building things that are as good as the stuff that's being built on NVIDIA's chips without NVIDIA's chips. That's why NVIDIA's down 10% this morning.
Yep.
Also, how much have we talked about it recently? You can get Chinese tech stocks, which are the best tech stocks in the world, besides the United States tech stocks, for their cheapest valuations in the history of the Chinese equity market. These companies are very special. They are good at tech, right? So this is another example. China's launching some sort of competing product with R8i products here. These Chinese tech companies are the only ones that can compete with the US tech companies. There's something there. The stocks are so cheap right now. They're coming out of massive bases. Everyone hates them, and they're building products that are as good as the products we're building with our super here.
That would be your takeaway from this would be like, forget NVIDIA. China. I've been pounding the table on China for weeks, right?
Let me ask you this. Real talk. Real talk. If this was really a crisis and the world was going to come to an end and all these perma bears are finally going to be right and and that was true, would all the Chinese indexes be up over 1% today? I don't think so.
No. You're right, JC, and I think the big takeaway from this is it's irresponsible not to have some Chinese tech stock exposure, even if just as a hedge. Look what's happening to all of your stocks today. This is because of China. You don't want to own those companies. You think it's too risky to own those companies. They're dunking on your portfolio today. Maybe you should own some of them.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Well,
And just from an intermarket perspective, can I just say, so like, I'm observant and I see the social media. I don't do the TV thing, but I do see the social media. And, I've got my Perma Bear account where I see, the contrarians, and they're out in full force this morning. I'll tell you that much. Let's just go over a few of these intermarket relationships this morning.
please.
If this was a real crisis, would the Russell 2000 small cap index be down 0.75%, or would it be down 4, 5, 6%, 5%? Right? Would the Dow futures be down just 290 points? That's less than 0.2%. Probably not. I remember saying similar things, Strazza, if you recall, when we had that Volmageddon in August, when that was the last time that we were supposed to have a crisis. And I was like, yeah, this is all you got? Oil's flat, copper's flat. Like, that's what's happening now. Oil's flat, copper's flat. Like, there's dollars down. Dollars down. Swiss franc is ripping this morning. From an intermarket perspective, Swiss franc up almost a 1% this morning. Euro up 1/3%. British pounds up 1/4%. What's getting hit in the Forex markets? Mexican peso moving with the VIX. That makes sense. Dollar index futures got destroyed last week. Destroyed. And are continuing to confirm that this morning. I find that interesting.
Lower dollars would be great. That's probably the more important development.
Of all of the things I mentioned,
currency market.
The dollar?
Yeah.
What about copper flat? You don't think that's a big one?
Dollar drives all.
I don't know how relevant. I don't know, JC. Like this morning, I don't know how relevant that stuff is this morning, right? You come in, Nvidia's down double-digit %. How relevant is copper? Right.
They should all
I
be
think
down.
that if there was a real crisis coming and the world is actually going to fall apart and all the things that Perma Bears are screaming about this morning are true.
Yeah, but if there was a real crisis coming, this would be the top of the first inning. Those
not
things
a crisis. Guys, this is an AI situation.
I know.
This is a Magnificent Seven situation. It's not a crisis for the whole market. What we found out this weekend is that maybe the Mag 7 stocks are not the only game in town when it comes to AI. Maybe smaller companies, startup companies can spend a significantly less amount of money and still compete with them. Because right now, the way that all of these groups, these tech stocks are priced is that the Mag 7 dominates. The Mag 7 is going to create all the products and services around AI. They're going to win. Almost no one else is going to. If we start to see, this is just proof of concept of this going on already this weekend. If we start to see these little startups come up and build products to compete with them at a significantly lower cost, right, and build out, that's a problem for the current valuations of the Mag 7s. They have to be discounted significantly for that. Is that not like the simplest way to explain what just happened this weekend and the selling that's happening?
Dan Ives is out there saying the same thing. He's like, this is bullish. I don't know what everybody's so bearish about. I don't know much about this stuff, but what's that?
This is good for breadth. Let the other companies compete and get some of this.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't see this negative breadth that people are talking about. I've counted. I just don't see it. This is
Let's
interesting.
Get him on. Let's get him on. There's nobody I'd rather talk to about this.
I was thinking the same thing. Get Dan Ives on like tomorrow. I know we got a long week. Some of us are here in New York City, Strazza. For our event. We'll let you know how
you
that
are
goes.
not in New York City. You are in Pennsylvania. I see.
Yes,
you.
I am. Let me ask you this. What we're seeing in technology this morning, making new 52-week lows relative to the NASDAQ, is that something new, or is that just something that we've been seeing for quite some time now?
I don't like that ratio.
You don't like the ratio? Okay.
This seems a little nitpicky to me.
Rotation out of tech and into consumer discretionary is nitpicky?
No, the top one.
This is so double dippy, Spencer. This is so double dippy. This is like charting banks versus regional banks.
Right.
This is all the same components driving these two indexes.
First of all, you of all people are the one who says if you want to judge a group of stocks, judge them against the best.
Yeah, fine.
Isn't that what you
But
say?
all right. This is what I think you're trying to show me then. This ratio, this black line is telling me, do I want to be in Microsoft and Apple or the other Magnificent Sevens? Is that right?
No, not really, because communications isn't. So there's no Google and Facebook here. Oh, you're saying in the
No,
denominator?
Microsoft. I'm saying Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, right? That's the numerator versus all the other Mag 7s is the denominator.
First of all, if you change the denominator to the Dow or the S&P, you're going to get the same charts, by the way, for the record.
I think we should stop talking about Mag 7s so much, right? I think it's a bad lesson to act like these are the only stocks. If we enter
Well,
some
of
sort
all
of
people, we know
environment,
that they're not the only stocks.
No,
Throw up.
no, Steve's take is right. That's the takeaway from this weekend. Is we thought maybe the winners would be the obvious winners, right? And that's how it's been for the past.
Oh, is that what you're saying? Like we've been saying all the time that the winners are going to be the obvious winners, and now you're saying that could potentially be wrong. That's a valid point.
yeah,
That's what you're saying. Just said.
Because the market's been pricing that hardcore for 2 years now, right? So there would be a big unwind if that doesn't end up being the reality of the situation.
All right. No, that's a fair point. You see how open-minded I am? You see? Speaking of other stocks, can we please put on slide 4, please? Speaking of other stocks, what is the exposure that this index? How many of the Magnificent 7 stocks are in this index? Is it a lot of them, or
is this the morning for this?
This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average of Europe making new multi-decade highs. Does this seem like deteriorating breath to you?
Is this the morning for this? That's my question.
Is this the morning?
Tell me you're not writing about this today. I wrote about this morning. Did you write about the Euro stocks today?
I did not. I wrote about it over the weekend, though. It's Euro stocks 50.
Yeah, this is great, dude. Because for me,
the Dow of Europe.
This is about, look how far we've come. It's in a matter of, I don't know, a month or two. We were drawing up the Fez and these Euro stocks indexes as tops. Less so this one than the 6. Right? We were drawing these as tops. All of these, especially in USD. Right? The MSCI country ETFs and diversified, they're all tops. They dug in, they scooped higher, and in local terms, they're making new all-time highs now. And I think that's a good signal for where the country ETFs and diversified ETFs could be going. Big breakouts. And then you're going to have a long list or growing list of individual country ETFs that are breaking out to new all-time highs that probably offer better opportunities than diversified indexes and probably also offer better opportunities than investing here in the United States still. How about that?
So a couple of things. First of all, how many people are talking about the Euro Stoxx 50 this morning?
At least one person.
I literally wrote a post about it, the 600.
I love that you and I, Strazza, I love you, bro. I love that you and I are the only people on the planet of Earth talking about Euro Stoxx 50 hitting new multi-decade highs, number one. Number two,
no one else.
Definitely nobody else.
No.
According to my sources, this television channel on basic cable, CNBC, had a roaring bear on this morning, a bear that was roaring, according to my sources.
I didn't see it.
I know people who watch basic cable television in 2025, and they are telling me that there was a roaring bear, not a roaring kitty, a roaring bear.
I went for
on
lovely
the television this morning. Basic cable. True story.
You're going to tell us who it is, or no?
Oh, I have my source. You don't know them.
Okay. So
my own peanut gallery.
Someone in the chat as well, noting on Twitter, no less, 5100 Friday, JC as well.
What?
Yep.
5100 on Friday also broke out.
JC,
the what?
Have I told you guys? Have I told you?
100.
Stop.
Oh, you talking about the footsie? Did you call it the fitzy?
Yeah. What the fit? Oh, come on, footsie.
It's not like an Irishman.
Oh.
It's an index.
Oh,
it's footsie.
I've always called it fitzy.
What the footsie?
Spencer? Oh my goodness.
I'm like, okay. What is he saying?
Fitzy? Footsie?
It's the footsie, bro.
All right. In any case,
I think I'm going to start calling it the fitzy, though. I kind of like it better.
That's what I've always called it.
Yeah, the FTSE 350 and the FTSE 100. Look at the Oslo index breaking out to new highs. I mean, just go index by index across Europe. German DAX, new all-time highs. No?
Europe is coming. That's where my head is at. I'm with you. I love this
Good.
team. I'm on board.
All right,
Alfonso,
five, please, Spencer Israel, please.
5.
Alfonso has
Please.
prepared a lovely presentation for you all in New York City, and there's going to be some Europe in there. Get ready for some Europe.
Oh, yeah.
He's diving into all the international ETFs and indexes.
How are we
Yeah.
feeling about this?
It's a scoopty-doopty. It's going to go. I think these are the best.
Scoopty-doopty. Wait. Hold on. Back up
Uh-huh.
the truck here for a second.
That's
Hold on.
a new one.
It's
That's a new one.
Oopsie-doopsie? Is that what this is?
Yeah, that works too. That's good. Yeah,
What'd you call
it's
it?
a shake. It's a shake and go. You know, a little scoop
Shake
and
and bake.
score. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little
scoop and
dip
score.
before a rip. Yeah. A little shakeout before the breakout.
Yeah, little bull
I
trap.
love this.
Bear trap.
Yeah.
Little bull. Yeah. All right.
Because
Bull hook. Right, as they say.
The most important, place of this chart to look is September. Do you see the way we ramped to new highs?
Yeah.
And then it was like, let's just tire them out, right? Everybody starts staring at China, talking about China for a week, 2 weeks. David Tepper's like, we're buying everything. And then a month later, everybody forgets and is making fun of them. And then you give the bears a shot. They try and break it down. They can't do it. The bulls rebound right where you would expect them to. And now we just got to go. Now we got to see the follow-through move, and I think it's coming. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. And I think as a China bull, you could not ask for a better sentiment backdrop. Like, we're talking about the price action here, but everything else that we're talking about, in the background every day on the show, all the China news and the tariffs, what a gift. What a gift we have with this setup here, Chinese equities.
This is the strategy. This is the strategy for 2025. Whenever they say tariffs or oligarchy, you buy more stocks.
Oh.
Right? Like that's what it is. If they say oligarchy or if they say tariffs, you just buy more stocks. That's how to do it. You think that's crazy, Strazza? You think that's right?
Yo, this communist AI is off the hook.
Thank you, Morgan. Morgan's coming to dinner Wednesday.
Jesus, Murphy.
He brings me Dunkin' Donuts. That's
Hi, Morgan.
a good life right there.
How many? Okay.
If I knew that, I would have come to New York.
We are bursting at the seams of the capacity of this room.
Well, if maybe you won't be allowed in. Only people who can pronounce Tootsie correctly are allowed in.
I have one more person who needs to go.
Who?
I'll tell you.
Chart Kid? Chart Kid's coming.
No, he's coming. He's good. He's going.
You got another one?
This is not good.
How many friends do you have?
This is not
How
good.
many people like you? I don't think that many people like you.
We'll talk.
This is not good. Okay.
I do have a lot of friends. A lot of people,
Spencer. I know the guy who runs the hotel. He's my roommate.
A lot of people are really, really disappointed that I won't be in New York City, huh?
A lot of people.
I haven't.
You hear that, JC? A lot of people. People are saying. I don't know who they are, but people are saying.
Have you heard?
I haven't heard anything actually. No, hasn't been mentioned once. In fact, throw up slide 2, please, if you will, Mr. Spencer Israel.
Dare I ask, is this a new slide 2 or not?
It is not. It is the OG.
Good.
And so here we're looking at the performance of all of the sectors so far in 2025. I would like to bring your attention to one consumer staples, the only sector not up in 2025. How do we feel about that, Mr. Strazza?
That's great. I think we've talked about this. Defense lagging is a bull market characteristic.
Yeah.
This is bull market behavior, bull market sector behavior, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure what all the pessimism is about this morning, but I'm happy about it. So I want to give a big shout out to the Deep Sack, and for those who are into it,
I liked Josh Brown's take, which was like, bottom line, no one knows anything about this AI stuff, and it's still so early that like the whole game could change on a dime, and we just don't know.
Yep.
We just don't know, right?
Throw up the Europe one more time. Throw up the Europe one more time. because the market, as we like to say around here, is a forward-looking discounting mechanism. And I just don't see Europe breaking out to new all-time highs and rotation out of mega cap growth and into other areas as a bad thing. I'm not seeing this breadth deterioration that people keep crying about. I'm not seeing that at all. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I would encourage everybody out there to go one by one. Look at all 30 stocks in the Dow. Look at all 30 Dow components. I would highly encourage you to do that. And I got one more. I'll leave you with one more chart, guys. I got an important meeting.
Can't leave us. Okay.
Here,
what?
Last one. I promise. Slide, the new slide two. Last one, I promise. And the point that, again, guys, I highly encourage, there's 30 stocks. It's not going to take you very long. Go one by one. And these are two of them that are in the Dow. And just to reiterate, the market doesn't care that you're broke. The market doesn't care at all if you're broke or not. The market is only interested in the fact that these two companies are not broke, right? You see the difference? You don't matter. These companies do. So keep that in mind, right?
Yes, I love these trends. These stocks have been so good for so long. I'm starting to think that we might see a similar situation within the financials that we're probably going to see in tech, where you want to be in the smaller ones eventually, right? So like these are the leaders now, but I would be prepared for them to not be the leaders for the entire cycle.
Bartelloni, I got to hop. Give him hell. Don't let him give you any shit, Bartelloni. Tell it like it is. All right. I love you guys.
All right. He's leaving. He's got a meeting apparently, but we got things to talk about. We have Kenny Glick in the house. These days like today are like my favorite days to talk to Kenny, because he is, as we all know, he's the most bullish perma bear you've ever met, or the most bearish. Yes, he's the most bullish perma bear. Yeah, this is a great day to talk to Kenny. I'm sure he's been getting down and dirty, maybe buying dips this morning. Let's find out. How about that? Let's see what Kenny's up to, and then we'll bring on James Bartelloni.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola.
Yeah. Kenny, your camera's off. We have
everything's off, bro. Everything's off. I was on a cursing tirade just now, bro.
Why?
Bro. What's up?
Why were you on a cursing tirade?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out when people are going to realize we don't need umps and refs in football. We need lasers. Because if you don't think that was a first,
I was saying that last night.
I mean, we're past the point. Well, where do you think you want to spot it? Oh, it looks like over here. But no, that guy says it's over here. How about we put it right here? What did Pat Mahomes say? Oh, back over here? All right, they win. It's the most rigged game. It is so awful and hard to watch.
What is more rigged, the NFL or the market? Ooh, big
oh my God. But this rigging is phenomenal. The market rigging is great. Did you wake up this morning and get a little scared? Ooh, were you scared? I was buying. Of course I was buying. So here's your NQ futures. Want to see something that you don't see too often?
Yes.
Here's the NQ futures from last night. Let me get rid of all these red lines. You'll be doing more than red lines today. Right here. This is last night as I was just making dinner with the family. I saw the gap down. It tried to rally, and it didn't break VWAP. And I was like, whoa, there's something different. And then here is where it usually makes the turn and continues to rally, and the sell-off's over. And it got rejected at VWAP again. And then you wake up, and it's all the way down here. You finally got capitulation. So now this morning, yeah, of course, we're looking to buy, but I'm back on the Qs now. So let me show you two more charts after this Qs, and I'll tell you what I'm in right now. The Qs, there they are. The NQ futures are the QQQ, so there's the capitulation. And again, I didn't wake up till I saw around here. And as soon as I'm awake, it's breaking VWAP. I'm in. That's all I need. But more importantly, friends, let's go back to what we do the best. Earnings reversals and faux show bros. Oh, yeah. Here's your Sophie trade this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
SoFi was looking juicy last week.
Look at this beautiful setup here. Here's your SOFI. The earnings come out. They don't care about this gap down on tech, but then suddenly they do. There's the rollover. So pop and drop. There's the roll. And then here's my favorite part, the faux, show, and the bro. So when you break a new low, but you hold the whole number, that's algorithmic trading, baby. That's how you identify risk. So as soon as it made this turn, Again, you don't know it's about to revert to the VWAP, but we see it so many times. This is the setup. Breaks the low, comes right back above that breakdown. We're buying right here, 15.25, people. 15.25 gets us back to 15.50. We're selling, and then we're looking for it to break back above this part where it was 15.75. Then you got the reversion to the VWAP. Look at the explosion of activity just through the VWAP. So if you see an earnings report, faux show bro breaks the VWAP, you're not just not late, get in right here. Even though I was selling some at 16, look at the explosion right back to the price where it broke down from about 2 hours ago, and that's where we sold, and that's where we're back in this trade at 16. So we've come full circle, sold into the move. We're back in Sophie right now long, and what an amazing morning. I mean, it is so amazing when you just stick to what you do. Earnings reports and stocks that are on the move. So we had some holo. Look at this thing. What is it? I don't know, but it's fantastic. Holds the VWAP. Next thing you know, you're breaking back over 235, breaking over 238. If you guys remember eighths of a point, 238 gets you what? 250. There's the 250. And again, I didn't buy it till the 250 break. 250 got us 275. Nice little payday there for you. Wonderful. How you doing?
Wonderful. Great morning, Kenny. Loving this. You're in the queues. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes, so far so good. And again, listen, I want to see some more volatility. You call this a sell-off? These are rookie numbers. UVXY is already tanking. So this was at 23 and change this morning at the heat of madness. If UVXY is above 23.66, you better call your mama because we're in trouble. But chances are you're not going to see it above 23.66, and you're going to see it start to disintegrate. The buyers will show up, and whatever this is, and again, just like they invented a reason to sell us off, yen carry, still trying to figure that out, whatever that was in August. And again, this will probably be another one of those events. Yeah. But again, when you're liquid and you're loving it and you're just coming here to play, Sophie, Q's, and Holo, and now we're just in the driver's seat. Whatever we do next will be whatever we do next.
All right, guys, hitthebid.com. Follow Kenny's trades as he's making them. You don't get, when he comes on this show, he's doing a little bit of backward looking stuff. He's telling us what he already did. But in his room, he's telling you what he's doing as he's doing.
Win it.
So get in there, hitthebid.com. Kenny, we'll see you this week in New York. How about that?
Yeah, I'll see you. And also, I want to be known as Deep Sack from now. Deep Sack is my new nickname. Yeah, see you later.
All right. And on that note, he's out. All right. What was I about to say? Yeah. The one thing I was thinking of nonstop this weekend as it relates to, DeepSeek was the only question I had in my head was, what are the odds that we're going to care about this in like 2 months, right? 2 or 3 months. Is this just one of an endless series of headlines that is like a big deal for a day or 2 or 5, and then we just kind of forget about it? I think more likely than not, but again, I don't know. No one knows. But it's just, I've learned to get less dramatic about these pre-market sell-offs or even pre-market rallies, right? When it's like all encompassing like this, because it is just one. It is one morning. It's really only, it's one overnight session. So we'll see what happens today. It's like any other day, but it's going to be an interesting day. Like, let's see what happens. To Harmonder's point earlier, if we do end up, decently in the red today, all right, that matters more than if we just bounce off the open. So we'll see. Let's take a little bit of a longer view approach with the next guest, James Bartelloni. If you have never seen James on our show before or read his work, I can say with confidence that there is really no one that does charts quite like him. It's not so much the charts themselves; it's the like super holistic analysis that he does. It's the stocks and their relations to like the universe, and it's going to be fun. I promise you, this is going to be fun. Bart's here. Let's get him on and let's talk about this. All of it.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mr. Bartelloni.
What's up, Bart?
Gents, how are you? Good morning. It's early out here.
It is early. We appreciate you joining us at like 6 o'clock in the morning, your time.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been in bed for like 30 hours. There's a wicked flu going on.
Yeah,
And
no kidding.
it just knocked me down. So I was
Everybody's
up about
sick.
an hour ago. I'd been in bed 24 hours. Yeah.
I
So I'm
I
good.
was talking to the guys. I was talking to the guys out in the studio yesterday. They're near you. They all have the flu too, out in San Diego.
Oh yeah, dude. It's wicked, man. Yeah. And now mudslides because it's raining. So we're loving it out here.
Jeez.
Hey,
Well, at least you're feeling better.
That
to deal with the
California weather
mudslide.
comes with the price. All right. Anyway,
Behind me is where I like to be, right? Ride the
Okay.
wave, right? So
okay, Bart.
Yes, sir.
You sent over a bunch of charts.
yeah, just a couple. We can go through whatever.
Just a couple, but before we get to those, do you have any thoughts on a morning like this when you come in and you see pretty much all red everywhere with a couple of exceptions?
Yeah.
You see the
Yeah,
biggest leaders
I've been
down.
listening in. I've been listening in with you guys, and to me, this is expected, right? We've had a lot of patterns completing. This has been an amazing run, and let's see what happens, right? I'm looking to buy when this is over, but this is expected. It's gone pretty high. You'll see in some of these charts, we're hitting some long-term price projections, and I don't know, Spencer, if you're like harmonically intertwined with the universe. But the
Not
last
like
time
you
I
are
was on
not.
here,
No.
well, I guess we all are. But the last time I was on here, we actually talked about the new Taiwan dollar, if you want to call those up, new Taiwan dollar, the semiconductor index, and Nvidia. Do you remember that? It was crazy. And what had happened was the semiconductor index had completed a long-term price projection, and sold off. And then it's been rallying. And Nvidia, yeah, here we are right here. So this is just yesterday or Friday. It completed another pattern. And I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know if the next chart is the long term, but I'm watching this play out, right? Because we finished this long-term price projection for the semiconductor index, and it's actually right. It's that top, and I'm thinking there's no way this is going to hold, right? Okay, we got a little bit. There it is, right? So the all-time low on the semiconductor index is 137.54. This is just a basic price projection, right? And bam, it hit it exactly. So look at all those long wicks and everything. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This thing, it's not going down. This is going to fail, and it's going to keep going higher. It hasn't. And then this news came out over the weekend, and I kind of went, "Huh, I wonder if that'll do anything." And obviously it has, right? So we've completed a long-term price projection that's over 20, 30 years long. This is expected. And what happens is when you're doing these longer-term patterns like I do, they usually hit 2-3 weeks, a month, who knows, right? And the news breaks with the cycle. It's not the cycle breaks with the news. So I've kind of been waiting to see if something was going to be a triggering event to get this thing to go a little bit lower so we can buy it ultimately. But yeah, so I'm not surprised, right? We are probably in an L8 wave. We're probably doing a C wave, right? And it's going to be five wicked waves down, then let's look to buy it. So it's not surprising. Everybody should just chill out. I mean, NASDAQ is crazy. Everybody's speculative on AI and everyone freaked out. So everyone's selling. Okay, great. Let's see what happens by the end of the week.
So Bart, when you say patterns are completing, it's in a sense that targets are being hit, objectives are being met. And then so when that happens, where does your mind go? Is it okay, now we're just down, target hit, right? So uptrend over, or is it more of like a now what?
Great question.
Like when the target is hit, how are you thinking?
Yeah, Steve. And the other thing too is I'm neither a bull nor a bear. I'm just a pattern guy, right? So we have completed long-term price projections targets, which are actually, and there's patterns embedded in them. And so now I'm going, okay, where could this go? First thing I do is I try to figure out my mindset. Is this an hourly pattern, or is this a daily, or are these monthlies, right? So this semiconductor index chart, it's a pattern that started from the all-time low. I've got a chart for Spencer, the New York Stock Exchange Index, right? It completed to the cent, a 1.618 price projection. But the key is it was from the all-time low. I think it's like the last slide, Spencer. Yeah, right there, right? So if you look at that, Steve-O, that is from 1973, that price projection, right? So that's a 50-year price projection, and it nabbed it. But more importantly, how strong is this market? Well, that red line is what's called a 1-by-1 trend line. So each day that goes by, it goes up a point, right? And that's that trend line. And you can see the first time it hit it, big deal. It approached it, it blew through it, right? I'm like, holy smokes. And then the reason I say this was a big failure is if you look at those blue arrows, those are every up move in the New York Stock Exchange Index, right? So we kind of expected that area to be resistance. It didn't even stop it, right? So those measured moves, the 1-by-1 trend line. So what do I really want to do? I want the New York Stock Exchange to come down and tap that red trend line again, right? It should, if we're still in a really bullish market, bounce off of that and continue. It should, right? If it doesn't, we get a daily or a weekly close. Okay, this might go a little bit deeper than we thought. But right now, that's my biggest thing that I'm looking at. And then, Spencer, if you go one more chart down, this one will be kind of mind-blowing. It's the Dow Jones, right? So not many people know it, and I'm just kind of a dork, as Spencer said on the intro. But
I didn't. Hey, whoa.
It's basically 47,000 days ago with the all-time low on the Dow. Okay, that was 2848, and that was in 1896. Okay, so just think about it. That's a 1-by-1, right? So 1 calendar day over, 1 point up. So in 10 days, we'll still only be at 47,010 or something, right? So if we get this sell-off and we come back up, we're about to square out the all-time low on the Dow Jones. Big deal, right?
Wait.
So we're getting to this point in the markets where it's inflection point time. I, like JC, I love to look at the XLP. I do it over the NYA just because it's all the stocks. And we're right at a critical support line of 13 years. We got a daily or weekly close below that. These stocks could rip, right? So we're really at this point of should I stay or should I go, right? And I have so many different interests. So I'm more of a longer term person. I don't do the intraday stuff. It's like when I used to fly fighters. I really didn't like a one-on-one. You know, it was crazy. It was bad. I like the 80-mile setups, right? You can see what's coming. So get your setup. All right, let's get going. So yeah, this isn't surprising me. How deep it goes is what we'll have to figure out. And again, we need to just reset our mind that these aren't like weekly patterns. These are 50, 70. The gold price projection I have is a 150-year price pattern, right? So it's like these are big price levels that are being hit. We should expect some sort of resistance.
What? Tell us why you look at corrections in time as well as price.
Well, because time, it's hard, right? If we could figure out the time, you know, it would be awesome. So there's multiple ways to figure out the time. But what I really like to see is I like to see when we have both price and time equal, right? So the number of days down equals the number of points that we correct, either up or down, depending upon the trend. So I like to do the time. This one in this case, right? This is gold. And so what we can see is, I think there's one more chart on it too, if you want to go really long term, but people don't realize that gold was fixed at like $20 an ounce back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, right? I think it went to about 1930. So we're using that low at $20 to do the price projection. And these are just measured moves, right? So we can see why gold hit the resistance that it hit, right? And that's that smaller projection. And now we've got, I would say, the projection coming up on gold, and that's right at about 29.50, right? We should expect resistance there, period, dot, end of sentence. If we don't, this thing's gone. You know what I mean? So these patterns give you a map, and maps are always changing, right? And so I'm looking for inflection points. It doesn't have to get up there. It could get up there tomorrow. Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's just something that we need to be aware of, and it gives us an idea, a demarcation line of how we go. So, you know, right now, Steve, to answer your question, sorry if I never got to it. Now I'm looking for logical areas of support, but in my mind, I'm using a longer term time frame. So I expect this to go maybe a little deeper than just a quick 2 to 3%, right?
You're talking about, you know, when I look at pretty much all these charts, you're talking about the longest time frames, right?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. You're picking up what I'm jamming. I just don't want to say it out loud.
Wow.
This could be a lot bigger. People don't want to hear it.
No,
The 1929 high. Guess what was at the 1929 high? Guess what was present? 5 conjunct planets. Saturday,
What?
5 conjunct planets.
What does that mean?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that sentence mean?
What does that mean?
Well, did you guys see on the 25th that all the planets were aligned straight? They were conjunct.
didn't.
They're all in one line, 5 in a row.
No, but that's why I have you. I thought so.
Okay,
No.
That
yeah.
happens.
I thought everybody knew about it. It's really an incredible event. So we had 5 planets on January 25th, all conjunct, all in alignment, straight up. You can look it up. It's pretty cool.
That's strange.
That was
no?
present in 1929. I'm just saying.
Love it. I love it, Bart.
Yeah.
I have to
yeah.
ask about this European financials chart that you brought.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
JC's
So
on the Europe train. I've been looking at Europe lately. You know, these indexes, at least the Euro stocks, are just breaking out to new highs. You're going to tell me something bearish about this pattern, aren't you?
well, it's a bearish pattern, yes. But again, patterns, remember, it's just a demarcation line, right? I have no idea which ones work or which ones don't. As soon as I could figure that out, life became a lot easier. I have no idea, right?
Yep.
But we have 2 projections right into that area. It should hold. If it doesn't, bullish for European financials, right? And that's your line. That's your line in the sand. That's it. It makes it so easy, right? It's
I
like
love what,
above
I
here,
love what
good.
you just said. Hold on. Let's back up. This is so good. It's just a pattern, right? Like we talk
Yes.
all the time and we look at these patterns, and the big decision to make is, do you trade it long or short? Because they fail all the time. And there's
Mhm.
still patterns when they fail, and they're tradable, sometimes even better, right? To trade when they fail.
Yeah.
But that's the hardest part. And we really don't know, right? We could maybe say the probabilities favor an upside resolution, right? And we can weigh the evidence, and we can make a nice list of things that would support an upside resolution. And we could probably do the same on the downside and probably make a good argument for that too. And that's just the way it's always going to be. You watch the pattern because it means there's a big level that's worth doing something at, whether it's long, whether it's
Bingo.
short. You want to see how price reacts there. And
That's
it's
right.
on
Causes
all
tons
time
of
frames.
stuff. So
Yeah.
this right here, if you look, and again, look at the blue arrows, those are all the same, right? So these are the up moves that occur in the European financials. Now
Is
we
that
just
the
so
same
happen to have,
percentage move? Are those measured the
yeah,
same
no,
percentages?
these are price. You can do both. You can do both,
Okay.
right? At times, like if you go call up the, I think everyone will want to see the Bitcoin chart, but if you go ahead, Spencer, and call up MicroStrategy. So you do both, Steve-O, right? You want to do both. In this case, it's price, okay? And so we have a perfect price projection. 0.886 is a great retracement level people don't ever hear about. Go to the first one, Spence, or the one after the one before. I forget. You'll see it.
Wedge
Yeah, here.
retracement? Wedge retracement? Did you just mention?
0.886.
0.886.
Yeah. It has to do with the cube root of pi. Anyway, so in this case, Steve-O, this is MicroStrategy, and these are percentage up moves.
Wow,
They're all the same.
that's incredible.
So the fact that we hit resistance on MicroStrategy, expected. So now go to the next one real quick, Spencer. And so as you can see, it's just been doing these patterns all along, right? And then came the big one. And so I sent this to my buddy Ponch. I'm like, we got a short MicroStrategy. He's like, you're crazy. I'm like, it's just a pattern, right? And if the pattern fails, off it goes. So now when you go to Bitcoin, I think that's the next one, Spence.
MicroStrategy has been an excellent leading indicator for Bitcoin.
That's why, right? So I'm just looking at Bitcoin. I'm going, I mean, my Elliott wave, I'm okay. I taught it, right? But it's so, like I said, my Elliott wave's like my golf game. 1, I'm not good at it. 2, if you ask me what my score was and I turn around and I do all that, I'm lying, right? So, but if it's an Elliott wave Ray Charles count, it's a Ray Charles count. There's 3 rules. 2 can't go below 1, check. 3 can't be the shortest, check. 4 can't go below the end of 1, check. So this is a valid count. And all I'm saying is with the MicroStrategy finishing its percentage move, just finishing another sell pattern, what do I do? Like you said, Steve, I switch my mindset. I go, okay, where could this go now? And so you can see I took the 3 to A corrective move and I just put it there, right?
Totally.
And I got the trend channel. I'm like, okay, it should go down about here. Let's take a look. So, it's not that and then look, I put it as a 1.
It's
Right?
another one though, Bart, that's just like target hit.
Yeah.
They're
Now,
all
what are
that
you
way.
gonna do? You're
Yeah.
gonna stay bullish, or are you gonna go neutral, or are you gonna short it?
This is great. Spencer, when is the next time we have Todd Gordon on? We got to ask our Elliott Wave guy. I love this. Looks valid to
I don't
me, but
know.
I'm not the one to ask.
Please ask anybody. Please.
We got to show him this chart,
Con-
Spencer, when we have Todd on.
confirm them.
Okay, done.
And here's the other thing
Well,
too. If this high doesn't hold, you can see we have another level that we're at, right? Now, I wouldn't recommend because I could miss a level. Like if we get a daily close above this level, go high. It's got to go to the next target. No, it doesn't have to do that, right? It'll do whatever the hell it wants. So I always tell people I try to look at my entries and exits against the wall of China. And what I mean by that is I want to be up against something for support and I want to be against something for resistance, right? So I don't enter in. I'm not good at it, to be honest with you. Middle of moves. I wait for the pattern because then I can precisely manage the risk, right? And people say, how often are you right? I go, I'm right every single time. You can't be right. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm right every single time because I know exactly where I'm wrong.
I make sure I understand. Something like this, you're waiting. Target hit, so we get a corrective wave, right? Some sort of selling back to this green rectangle, right? Which is potential support. But then once it gets there, you're waiting and watching, and then buying a rebound off that level if it comes.
Correct.
Love it. Yeah, you need confirmation, right? Because sometimes the market will blow right through our levels as technicians.
Absolutely. It doesn't care, right? And the other thing too is these are monthly candles. So I could be waiting 3 months, right? And that's my style, right? I'm still long DBA, the ETF for agriculture. I've been long that for 2 years. I'm still long TBT. I've been long that for 2 or 3 years, right? So I hold my positions. I'm long natural gas. That's not going well. But I'll hold these positions so I'll wait and wait and wait. Like DBA, when I entered DBA, I waited 2 years on that because I'm like, that's where it's going, right? So that's just the way I roll.
But that's why you're such a chill guy and you're out there surfing and playing golf because you zoom out, you focus on the primary trend or some sort of super long-term trend. I don't even know what that gold chart was. And it's just a nicer life, isn't it? You don't have to be sitting in front of your screens, managing your trades, getting chopped around.
Been there, done that. Not good at it.
Bart, one more. Well, you got something, Spencer?
Well, I was going to say, it's funny. JC asked, how many people do we know that are looking at, Europe this morning, and you guys, JC is, and you are, Steve, and so is Bart. You are as well.
We found another friend.
Yeah, and complete coincidence, right? That the three of you all. This is where your brains went this morning, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing.
The Taiwan dollar. People are like, what? Well, if you overlay the new Taiwan dollar on the semiconductor index, ding, 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 Taiwan semiconductors. When that thing moves, the semiconductor index moves. Why? Because it costs more or less foreign currencies. It costs more or less to get the chips. It's like you got to look at these. And that was what I loved about CMT3, intermarket technical analysis, right? It's one big dance, fixed income, commodities, currencies, equities, global. And it's all just flow of funds, right? And so you can do these ratio analysis. Again, that XLP NYA, we're sitting on a 13-year cliff of support. If that breaks, man, these things are gone, But I don't know if I've sent you that chart, Spencer. There's a massive buy XLP NYA lower that I would not want to be holding on to stocks if I had that. But that's a ways away. And so if we break that level, these things whip and turn and it's gone, right? So I'm just like waiting for my pattern, man.
No, love this. Big levels in play.
Thanks,
You've highlighted a number of them in key indexes and assets for us today. And if there's one thing, JC and I've been writing bullishly about Europe, coming on here talking about this bearish pattern. One thing that we agree on, there are big levels in play in Europe. All three of us have been saying that. And the broader market, whether it's Bitcoin or some of these other indexes. And thank you for reminding me about TWD and semiconductors because it's been years since I looked at that relationship. You ever get lost and just forget about like an intermarket indicator? Stop using it. It diverges, dislocates the relationship, you lose it for a while. You forget about it. You got to bring them back. Look at your old chart
people
book.
don't look at the currencies. They're everything.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
it was back when I started looking at them 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I think it was 90 days of trading on all the world's indexes, commodities, futures, bonds, and everything to equal 1 day of liquidity on the foreign exchange market. It's massive.
A lot of
right?
information there.
So the Aussie, I was looking at the New Zealand dollar and milk
How do you use the
right?
Aussie?
Aussie and gas,
You
the
use the
loonie,
Aussie more
Canada
for gas
oil.
than how about metals?
What's that? Sorry.
You don't
I
you don't use the
Sorry.
Aussie. You don't use the Aussie for a read on metals at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's also good for
Okay.
gas. Yeah, they're the major exporter to China, right? So these currency, it's huge. It really is, right? So that European financials, that's a massive chart right there. If it blows through that, they are strong. Easy,
Love it.
And I don't care if it works or it doesn't. It does or it doesn't. It's just a pattern. Thanks, guys. It's cool, man.
Yeah, I have no notes. There's no one quite like Bart that I found, right? So
I'll take that as a compliment.
no, that I mean that as a compliment.
Kidding, man.
I mean that as a compliment.
Man.
I mean, like seriously. We're talking about the alignment of the planets here. I wish we had.
Yeah, look it up, man. It was incredible. We couldn't
what's
see
going
it
on?
here in San Diego because we had clouds, but yeah, all 5 lined, man. And they were also aligned in 1929. Just saying.
You come highly recommended, Bart, even from our own analyst team. Our intern, Ricardo, is just a huge fan of yours. He wants me to ask
Oh,
you,
cool, man. He's a good dude.
loves your stuff. He's always telling
Awesome.
us, get Bart on. With everything that you're seeing, when you weigh all of this data and all these charts that you're showing us, are you more bullish or bearish right now?
The patterns are
wait
making
and
me
see.
the patterns are making me move to a bearish position, but we haven't even had a weekly signal reversal yet. You know
You
what I
gotta see
mean?
it.
Let's face it. Semiconductors, if it's true, who knows? That's a huge deal for that sector. So everybody who thought the AI boom was great and NVIDIA is a no-brainer, just buy it. I was all like, oh shit. So they're all reacting now. But the overall market, it's correcting-ish. It's not telling me that the sky is falling. So I'm expecting resistance. I really want the New York Stock Exchange Index to go down and tag that 1-by-1 trend line. That will give us a huge readout, right? If it bounces as it should, if we stay in this tremendously bearish environment, we're good. If it breaks below it and we get a daily or a weekly close below it, okay, this thing might go a little deeper. That's where I'm at.
So a little bearish for now and got to see how it goes. I love it, Bart.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Always, man. Tell JC hi.
All right.
We will.
Will do.
That's awesome. He's always so much fun to talk to.
Fantastic guy. And I don't know if JC was cheating or what, but Bart, and we didn't even get to this. Bart sent over, some charts of JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs as well, right? So like mine's.
No, it's
right?
funny. It's funny, and this happens a lot, right? Where our friends will come on, our analyst buddies, and it's like, oh, shocker, you're looking at the same charts as us, right?
Funny how that works out.
Big levels come into play. Sometimes based on the inner market, we're all looking at a certain asset or ratio. You know what I mean? So it happens. And look at that. We disagree too. We disagree all the time.
Yeah. All right. Let's hop on early today. I have to get ready for New York tomorrow, or which starts tomorrow, I should say. Steve is in Miami doing.
I'm in Key Largo.
I'm sorry, you're not in Miami. You're in Key Largo. So you're in a different key.
That's a hack. Key Largo is like 45 minutes from Miami, and sometimes we just didn't want to do the Miami thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's nicer. You take that little ride, and you go, stay somewhere nice on the water. Key Largo's lovely and conveniently located, unlike the rest of the Florida Keys.
Someone in the chat asked about books that Bart recommends. My recommendation to get his recommendations is go to his blog. It's just bartscharts.com. Go to his blog. The link is in the description, and I think he has a few recommendations on there as well. Okay. Sure. So here's the plan. We are not going to be doing a show for the next few days. A bunch of us will be in New York for our next in-person portfolio accelerator event. We'll be back on Friday, so we will be back this week. It's a big week. I'm kind of bummed that we picked this week, but it is what it is because we have a lot on. Am I sharing? What am I sharing? Where's my earnings calendar? There it is, right? Is that it? Yeah. We got a big week on the earnings front. This is big tech earnings. We had SoFi this morning, which Kenny mentioned, but this is the week, right? We've got Tesla, we've got Meta, we got Microsoft, we got Apple, all of them, right? This is Mag 7 week for most of them, right? So we'll talk about this all. Yep. We'll be doing live videos. I mentioned that in the email last night that went out to people. If you get the charts from if you don't get them, you should get them. The link is in the description. But as I mentioned that last night, that we'll be doing some live videos this week from New York. But yeah, we got to talk about this stuff. It's a big week. So we'll be back on Friday, break it all down. We'll give earnings a couple of days to digest. And that's kind of the plan. So I know. We picked a we picked a week, right?
We joke. If Sean was here, this happens all the time. At least we feel like it does, and we can't figure out if it's a real feeling or not. Every time we travel or have an event or at a conference, there's some sort of market volatility event. There's something that we're all looking at each other while we're in New York City, like, oh God, I wish I was at my desk. What's going on?
Yeah.
Happens every time. Happens every time.
Yep.
So I'm gonna stay home and monitor this volatility for you guys because this is real right now. Nasdaq's opened up down 3.5% a minute ago. Well, down 3%, buying it up a little bit right now, but that's nasty. We're staying. I don't know how long. But all right. Yeah. All right.
We do need to mention. We need to mention the Qs are off the lows. Everybody, let's keep that in mind. Off the low in the morning, but yes, Steve will be manning the fort. Maybe doing some live streams throughout the week to, we've got some earnings.
I think I might.
Yeah, honestly, maybe you will.
Might do something fun. We'll miss you guys, but I'll be zooming in. And it's going to be a long week. Yeah.
Great. Josh, stockmarkettv.com. The chat is always there. That chat never goes away. Stockmarkettv.com. I have it open on my screen 24/7, right? I'm always watching it. So if you want to chat, hop on in, right?
I might come hang out.
You cannot get our travel calendars because those don't exist. All right. That's what we got. Thanks, Bart, for hanging out. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys in a few days, and a couple of you will see in New York. Smash the like. Go make some money. And adios. Enjoy.
Later.
I can't take no loss.